Hare Krishna. A very warm welcome from Shri Krishna Stories. Spiritual vitamins for a healthy soul. Today's story is wife of an ardent devotee of Shiva who came to Tirupati to pay tribute when a child was born. A simple story to explain this. Let's get into the story. The third Kulothunga Chola ruled with Karur as his capital. Danganachari lived in the area under his rule. He was the best sculptor of the palace and an ardent vegetarian Shiva devotee. His wife was Sundarambika. This couple had no child. One day, Danganachari had gone to the palace. Sundarambika was alone in her house. Then she heard a voice in the street saying, "Govinda, Govinda." Sundarambika came running and looked at the street. Then a crowd went on shouting, "Govinda, Govinda." In the middle of the crowd was a 5-year-old boy dressed in yellow with a tulsi garland on his chest and a trinity on his forehead. Sundarambika inquired about this from a woman in the meeting, to which the woman replied that the boy was her son. "Mother, I was without the privilege of the child. We prayed for Tirupati Venkateshwara Perumal. The baby boy was born. We had to pick up the child at the age of 5 and go to Perumal's shrine and pay tribute. It is with great pleasure that we now go to Tirupati to fulfill it." On hearing this, Sundarambika prayed to Tirupati Venkatajalapati and prayed the same thing. Sundarambika became pregnant by the grace of Tirumalai Venkatesha. Venkatajalapati also blessed. The baby boy was born to Sundarambika. The couple was happy. The child is 5 years old. Time to fulfill the prayer. So far, Sundarambika has not said anything to her husband regarding the prayer. Danganachari about this prayer. Sundarambika now summoned with courage and asked her husband for permission to pay the tribute. Danganachari sighed in anger. "I, who worship Lord Shiva, will not go to Tirupati. I will not let you go," he warned and went outside. Sundarambika was sad and shed tears. Sundarambika's condition was bad due to this worry. Child Kundalachari saw his mother always crying and asked, "Why are you crying?" Sundarambika told her son about her predicament. Kundalachari heard it and said, "Mother, don't cry. I'm going to invite Tirupati Srinivasa Perumal to the hill in our town. We can fulfill our prayers here." Mother Sundarambika, who heard her son's playful speech, don't even know whether to cry or laugh. After everyone had fallen asleep that night, child Kundalachari took his father's chisel and other weapons and went to the small hill nearby. "Tirupati Venkatajalapati, come and run to these mountains to solve my mother's worries. Save my mom. If my mother dies, I will die too." Then one of the monks appeared before him and said, "Child, what are you doing here at night?" Kundalachari said, "I'm going to build a temple here and invite Tirupati Venkateshwara Perumal to come and serve here." As monk heard this, "Are you crying for this?" "Don't worry, we will build a temple here together. You can't do this alone. I have a lot of people. You can keep them and build a temple in which Tirupati Venkatajalapati will definitely rise for you. It's late at night. You go home now and come here tomorrow," said the monk calmly. The boy Kundalachari picked up the small stones and gave them to the monk. Kundalachari came back home and slept soundly. As usual, the boy's father Danganachari got up early in the morning and went to the hill. He was shocked to see the temple standing majestically there. Building a temple in one day is not even possible by the king. That too in this difficult mountainous region. It is not possible for anyone else to do this. Did King Kulothunga Chola build this temple without even telling me? In the morning, he went to the palace and asked the king for an explanation about how the temple had been built. The king also went to the mountain in the amazement and looked. To himself, he went on to say that he would find and punish the one who had built the Vishnu temple for Venkatavan in the best possible way. I will destroy the one who built the temple without respecting the promise of King Danganachari. He went into hiding at night and hid inside the temple. He was in ambush because the builders of the temple would come back anyway. Then the boy Kundalachari took the chisel and other weapons and entered the temple gate. Danganachari, not knowing who he was in the dark, cut off the boy Kundalachari with his sword, not knowing that he was his son. After that, Danganachari came home and fell asleep. The next morning, Sundarambika was heartbroken not to see her son. Meanwhile, the people of the area saw Kundalachari lying on the ground with his head cut off. Then Danganachari became a demon. Sundarambika, who lost her son, cried. Then a monk appeared there. He looked at Danganachari and said, "Pick up some basil leaves, I will let your son survive." Danganachari, on hearing this, covered both his ears and said, "I will not touch Tulsi with my hand." When the people heard this, they became angry and said, "It is not right to speak of like this even in this difficult time." The monk who bought it put the head and body of Kundalachari together and squeezed Tulsi juice on the neck area. As soon as Kundalachari awoke from his sleep, he awoke alive. They praised the pride of Perumal. Then a voice rang out from the sky. Perumal, who appeared spontaneously, appeared here only for Kundalachari. Kundalachari was overjoyed to see the immense confidence he had in me, so we are present here. Now you can pay your prayers right here. I gladly accept and said, Danganachari, I am Hari, I am Haran too. Thank you for listening to the story. Sarvam Shri Krishnaarpanam.